back. Do you ever worry that prayer is something you have to do right or else your prayers won't be heard? In Hannah's story, which we hear on the first day of Rosh Hashanah, we see a vivid description of her prayer. The boldness and authenticity of Hannah's prayer moved the rabbis so deeply that they considered it paradigmatic and urged us to follow her example in our own prayer. Hannah teaches us that embodying a maternal stance can help us break out of constraints that might keep us disconnected from God. In the biblical text, verse 13 states that Hannah prays in her heart, her lips moving silently. Rak sfateha na'ot, v'kola lo yishama. As the priest Eli observes her, we as readers also witness her deep emotion and desperation. Eli, the embodiment of the priestly system, initially misunderstands her. He thinks she's drunk. He can't understand at first that Hannah is connecting with God, but just in a different way. What's remarkable about the story is that Hannah actually convinces Eli that he misunderstood her, and that it's possible to commune with God without following the particular temple order. The exchange expands Eli's perspective, leading him to bless her and to ask God to grant her wish. In the first midrash you saw, from Brachot, the rabbis dramatize the misunderstanding between Hannah and Eli. Hannah, with great chutzpah, tells Eli that he lacks the connection to God he believes he has, and that she is connected to God in a way he can't even fathom. Hannah's prayer and her interaction with Eli teach us two key things about prayer. She demonstrates that prayer should be emotional and authentic, encouraging us to express our deepest feelings. Her confidence in the face of Eli's judgment resonates with those of us who struggle with how to pray or who worry if we're doing it right. She invites us to pour out our hearts in prayer, sidestepping the need for rote gestures. Hannah teaches us to ask God for what we want, trusting that God will hear and answer our prayers. The rabbinic parable of the king and the poor person further illustrates this lesson. Hannah earns an audience with the king not by being invited to the party, but by having the chutzpah to push her way past the gatekeepers and demand she be heard. The king's affirmative response to the poor person's request shows us that we don't need gatekeepers to access an intimate relationship with God. While we can certainly learn about emotive prayer from Hannah, she can also teach us about prayer that is silent and internal. V'Hannah hi medaberet al liba. There may be times when the words aren't enough, or when we don't even know what the right words would be to express our longings to God. The rabbis in the Yerushalmi lift up the silence of Hannah's prayer, telling us that Hannah teaches that even if we don't utter a sound, God is close enough to hear our innermost longings, kepeh le'ozen. Our inner and perhaps even unexpressed prayers reach God as though we're whispering in God's ear. This Rosh Hashanah, let's learn from Hannah's maternal example. Let's embrace and express the full depth of our emotion as we pray. Let's pour out our hearts like no one's watching, because we know that God can hear us even when we don't utter a sound.